was way back on Monday, Jules, but it took me several days to come down. Such was the relief. A 0-0 draw in Germany against Ukraine, and Italy will get to defend their title at the Euros.
Yes.
But it came down to Cristante and Mudryk. And
that's a penalty. 100%, 92nd minute. I was watching and I swear to you, I jumped off my sofa. I was like, oh my God, he's going to give it. Nothing. You were so lucky.
I said, this is it. This is North Macedonia again. I mean, except we'd have to go in the playoffs. But I thought it was a penalty in real time. If you watch the replays around enough times, it's a little bit like staring at, those Rorschach tests that like the psychologist gives you?
Yeah.
And it's like a big ink stain and like, what do you see? Yeah, then eventually you see one where there's no contact. But in the real world, it's a penalty. I would love to know.
I feel for Ukraine a bit.
I would love to know whether they got caught in some VAR hell where it's like clear and obvious, whatever. But I do feel for them a little bit.
Yeah, I know. And Gab, you have a column up about this on the ESPN website. But for our listeners who can't read or maybe don't have the internet or a computer or phone,
but somehow can listen to this podcast,
Yeah. What do you make of this Italy team? Are they actually any good? And can they do well at the Euros again?
I think they can do well at the Euros because it's a knockout tournament, because Greece won it in 2004, because I don't think there's anybody who's really good and doesn't have evident weaknesses, except for France. But then again, they have Didier Deschamps. So you can't rule it out. However, there are massive flaws and massive gaps of talent, and it's a shame because, for me at least, they play attacking football. They play positive football. They could have scored 2 or 3
against Ukraine. Yeah,
for the first hour
half.
they dominated. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah,
but you can't put it in. And the reality for Italy, unless Scamacca suddenly becomes good.
Not the Scamacca that came on Monday night. That was horrible.
Raspadori can't get a start for Napoli. Moise Kean is more of a winger anyway and not particularly good. I'm serious. I was actually thinking about
the finishing,
this. Ciro Immobile nobody likes, and he's injured, and he's having his worst season, and he's old now. So I was actually thinking we get into the world of Lorenzo Lucca, Pietro Pellegrini, all these guys nobody's heard of.
Raspadori would be your starter, no?
Raspadori, what? The little Romario?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's be realistic now. It's going to be Pellegrini. Pellegrini's going to be fit. The cyborg will be back.
I've been waiting for him to get fit for the last 4 years.
Since he was 16.
Yeah.
North Macedonia, meanwhile, drew with England in that group, 1-1. Jules, you complained that England were terrible against Malta.
Yeah, they were.
Were they even worse in this game?
They were bad. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter because they were already qualified. They were already seeded. They would be in pot 1 for the draw on December the 2nd. So, no, in a way, it doesn't matter so much. But it pains me, really, and it frustrates me that such a talented squad of player doesn't play better football than that. Even against a team that played with a low block like North Macedonia did, and we knew even if they were at home that they would play like that there's not much, and you need an own goal in the second half to avoid defeat. You could have given another penalty because I'm sorry, the Maguire foul, the stumbling on Elmas, that's not a pen. It's beyond me. Yeah, Rico Lewis was good, I thought. Trent played okay. There was some good movement at times, but just not enough. And I just don't understand. I just don't know where this team is going.
But I'm sorry, but this is what we're talking about. We're talking about incomplete teams, right? If you were to just do a measure of talent, this would probably be the second best team in Europe, right?
Yeah.
However, when that talent is all in certain positions, and at the back, and I'm sorry, Mark Gay, absolutely fine, right? But is he on a par with the talent they have in other positions?
No, definitely not.
Maguire, let's not even get started.
Yeah.
Stones, maybe, when he's fit. And then beyond that,
Levi Colwill for me is the one.
Levi Colwill, who's at his first season at a big club, who's in and out. This is what we're getting into. Kieran Trippier, you're like, oh, look, he's so good. It's still freaking Kieran Trippier, with all due respect, right? Yeah. Like, compared to positions where you have Foden and Kane and whatnot.
And the wide players. No, for sure. I'm just, as you know, and I will repeat it again, for me, the problem is the manager anyway.